Hey guys, this is Kwei-Yu from the Computer Graphics Department, and I just thought I would put together a tutorial on how to format grades once they've been exported from Canvas to Excel. Now this is going to be based off of a process that was introduced to me when computer graphics was still in the BBSS division, and we have some really, great experts in Office over there, so shout out to them. But this was really a useful instruction sheet for me that I've been using ever since I received it several years ago. It's been slightly modified by myself this year just to accommodate some of the changes in the formatting once exporting from Canvas, but it's essentially the same, and I hope you guys find it as easy as I did. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing we do, like before we start formatting our grades and doing our export, what I usually like to do is copy all of my drops from DataTel. So here, let's see, if you do a DataTel search, you will find that you have all of these notifications across the semester. And if you click on these, I'm not going to click on it just so I don't want names revealed or anything, but you'll notice that it'll actually have a specific format that shows like the date, the time, and the student ID, as well as the name of the student that's been dropped, as well as the section number. And so what you want to do is just literally just copy that line from your email and paste it. In this case, I have like a sample sheet here. These are actually, this is based off of the actual format, but I replaced the names with like movie composers. So anyway, I have, a whole bunch of drops that I just copied and pasted here. I started from the very earliest date, so you look to the beginning of the semester. So maybe, in August or so. And then you just go up the list and just copy and paste them until you have like a total list of drops here. So you'll have multiple sections most likely, so you could just create a different list for each section. Okay, so this is just one section right now. Okay, so once you have that compiled, then you could actually go into Canvas if you haven't already done so. You go to Canvas and you essentially go to your gradebook. And again, I'm not going to show any names or grades here, but this is the very top of my gradebook here. What you want to do is just click export, and you can choose export entire gradebook. I tried exporting current gradebook just to see what the difference is, but I didn't really see too much of a difference, but I feel more at ease selecting export entire gradebook. There might be some extra stuff in there that you need to remove, but I would rather have more than less. Okay, so once you export the entire gradebook, you'll get a document that you could open up in Excel. Okay, it's not going to be an Excel workbook. It's actually going to be a comma delineated form. So when you open that up, it'll look something like this. Okay, and so yes, so these are grades, for one of my sections. I've actually removed any identifying information, but this is kind of what it looks like. And for names, I just put like classic composers. All right, so our drops are modern movie composers, so they wanted out of this class, and we just have our classic composers here. Okay, so just kind of think this might be your grade sheet. You have like your assignments across the top. You have like different information. This is like the raw export from Canvas. Okay, so what I usually like to do is save this as an Excel workbook first. File, save as, and let's just go, I'll just go to my desktop, and let's just create a grades demo folder. Okay, so I'll just save it in here, and we'll call this, let's see, I usually like to format, I think, fall 2023. This is going to date the video, but that's fine. And then computer graphics. Let's see, let's just put XXX and then XXXX for like the section number. Okay. And then I'll just put final grades. Okay, so this is not a comma delimited form. We'll just change this to an Excel workbook. So now it corrects the format right away. All right, so we'll just save this. Right, so now we're an Excel workbook. We don't have any potential loss of information. We're good to go. Okay, so here is where we could start following the sheet. Okay, So let's go back up here. And I'm just going to be following these steps. Hopefully I'll remember the order, but let's just go through these step by step, okay? The first involves just, adding a couple lines in the top and entering your name and just clearing out stuff that we don't need, all right? So let's just go through this. All right, so here I'm just going to select these two top rows, and we're going to right-click and choose Insert. So that just shifts everything down a couple rows. Here I'm just going to type my name. And you should type your name, obviously. And then now we're going to go under this cell here, D5. This is going to actually be your section number. So I'm going to press Control-C to copy, or Command-C if you're on a Mac. And then we're going to go back to A2, that second cell here. And I'll press Control-V to paste, or Command-V if you're on a Mac. Okay, so now we just have our name and our section information. This also has the semester information as well. So it's all good. Okay, now we're going to clear out some stuff that we don't need. Okay, so this column here, I'm going to select B to select the whole column. We're going to right click and choose delete. That's just going to remove everything. It's going to clear it away. Here we just have like our student IDs, our W numbers here. That's fine. Then here we don't need this information anymore because we already copied the section number over here. So I'm just going to right click and choose clear contents. You don't want to choose delete because that's going to remove the column. I'm just going to select clear contents, and that's going to move that out. We have some extra numbers here because column B in this particular row is extra long and it's spilling over, but we're actually going to remove that in just a moment. Okay, so here, while I still have column C selected, I'm going to right click and choose Insert. That's just going to add one extra blank column for me, and we're going to fill that in just a moment. But before I do that, what I'm going to do is select my student test. This is actually, your test student, so you could, enter in, test grades in there if you wanted. I don't need that for my gradebook, so I'm just going to choose delete to remove that row. Okay, so now we have these two blank columns. What we're going to do is move to the very end of my gradebook here. And after our main assignments, we kind of see here my last kind of assignment is this 400-point assignment. Then we have like these various number totals for points as well as like scores. Scores are like percentages and points are like point totals. So what you really need, like for me, like I don't have like separate kind of like categories for grades or anything like that. I just kind of have this one kind of total final, point total as well as final scores. So here we have like final score as well as unposted final score. We have current score, but you can kind of see these are all the same for me. So depending on your grade structure, you might need to just check to see if there are any discrepancies and just kind of understand how that might be different or specific to your class. But for me, they're all just the same. And all I really need is this final score column. So this unposted final score, I could actually delete. And let's see, I could actually delete these as well. These are other kind of score columns. And so I'm just going to take, let's see, before I copy this over, I'm going to actually clean up some other stuff here. So all of these like assignment totals and different scores, I don't need as well. What I just want to leave is final points and final score. Okay, so again, this might be a little bit different based off of your specific class, but for me, I don't need these extra columns. So all I have are my activities, my labs, assignments, and discussions, my final points, as well as my final score. This here, I don't need the read-only notifications. Let's just kind of clear contents for those. Okay, and what I'm going to do is select the final score column. I'm going to press Control-C to copy, or Command-C again. Then I'm going to press, go to column C, select it, press Control-V or Command-V, and that'll paste my final score over here. And then in this next cell, I'm just going to enter in grades or grade. Okay. All right. So we could double click this to kind of minimize this. So we could actually now just go down the list and enter in our grades. So these are our percentage numbers. So I could just go down here. This person received an A. This person received a D, A, D, A, B, C, F, B, F. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm so sorry that Vivaldi got it up here. Oh well. Okay. So, little things like this, I like to actually have this right justified so the letters go over to the right. Okay. And a couple other things. I like to bold certain columns and rows. So these two are, I think, are really important. So I'm just going to bold these. And I also like to bold the points possible row here. And so the points possible row, the final score is obviously going to be like an A, like 100. And I don't need to put in a grade for that. Okay. And so over here as well, I like to bold these two final points and final scores on the other side. Okay, so final score here under, this is also going to be 100. And what I would like to do is just create a sum total here just to kind of like add up all the points and just confirm. So let's just put equals. I'm going to type in sum and put a parentheses, and then what I'm going to do is select all of my scores here from the contract, and I'm going to hold down shift and select all the way down to the 3D animation project. Okay, and now I'm going to put the close parentheses and press enter. And so now we see my total is 3051. Okay, so we can move on from here, but I usually like to do like a check just to make sure that my percentages all like work out correctly. So I'm just going to go here, I'm going to put equals, and we're going to choose this cell here, which is the point total for the student, and then we're going to divide that by 3051. Okay, so now we get this number here. This should be like the percentage grade. I could reformat this. Let's select like the percentage value, and then I'm going to remove the decimal point over a couple. So now we have just an accurate representation. So we could see that this grade matches up correctly to what was exported from Canvas. So I'm going to press Control C or Command C, and then I'm going to click drag and paste this so that we could see the same scores for all of these other rows here. And so we could just see they all line up correctly. And it's just like a double check to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the way things were calculated. Okay, so when I see that they're all correct, we could go in here and right click and choose clear contents. Okay, just to remove that. All right, so I'm good with like the scores here. So all the grades that I gave are, are working. Okay. Okay. So, all right, so now we have our grades, we have everything kind of entered here. Now we have to just do some formatting because everything's, just really kind of like spaced out. This is really going to be a little bit difficult to fit on a page the way it's like formatted right now. So let's clean things up just a little bit, all right? This is where the magic happens, if you ask me. Okay, so we're going to go from the third column, column C, and we're going to drag all the way over here to the end. And then I'm going to select this kind of orientation for text. And we're going to click on it and choose rotate text up. So now we see everything kind of gets moved, sideways up here. Okay. And then we're going to select all of these. And I'm going to just add kind of like borders around everything. So this box here, we're going to select the drop down and select all borders. So you see it fills in all of my lines or edges with like a border. And then we're going to do some formatting to kind of tighten things up here. All right, we're going to go under format. I'm going to choose auto fit column width. And sometimes you might need to do this, but in this case I don't think I need to, but I'll just do it anyway. We're going to choose auto fit row height just in case like the height needs to be adjusted. Okay. So now everything's like really clean. It looks really good. We're making really efficient use of space. Everything's kind of visible. It's all really nice. The next thing we want to do is enter in like a grading key. Okay, so I'm just going to select this box here. We're just going to choose insert, and I'm going to look for text box. And I guess I didn't need to select that first, but we could just click drag a box now. And we can enter in our information, grade key, and maybe like points. And then I'm just going to tab this over. Grade. Okay, so now we want to put in like our range. Okay, so here we can make use of Excel's calculation prowess here, or we can open up our calculator if we want, but I'm just going to do it all in Excel. Okay, so we could just take this point total, it's 3051, and I'm just going to create like a calculation equals 3051 times 0.9. Okay, and then we're just going to continue equals 3051 times 0.8, 3051 times 0.7. Oops. Let's put the equals there. Equals 3051 times 0.6. Okay, so these are our point ranges. Okay, so here like the point's going to be let's see, above, and we can kind of see this number is not a whole number, so I'm just going to round it up, above 2746, and the grade's going to be an A. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then the next range is going to be going over this. This is the B range, okay? So B is going to be 2441 to, actually, looking at this, I kind of want to switch the place of these. So let's put the grade over here. Okay. Nope, it's not going to work out like space-wise. So we'll just keep it the way it is. I think that's fine. Just kind of slipping my mind exactly how I formatted my grade keys, but I think this will work all right. Okay, so now we want to go to like the point below 2746, which is going to be 2745. And I'm going to make this B. Okay, and then we're going to the next range down 2136 to 2440, and this is going to be a C. And then back here again, 1831 to 2135, and this is going to be a D. And then we'll write below 1830, or I guess to more accurately state this, let's put 2746 or above, and then this 1830 or below. And this is going to be an F. Okay, so that is a potential grade key format for you to write. It could just be as simple as that, but depending again on your grading scheme for your section, it's up to you, the details that you put in here. But you want to just make sure that there is a key available for people to be able to understand what the ranges are and what the grades are going to be. Okay. All right. So let's remove these guys. I'm going to right click and choose clear contents. Okay, so now before we're finished here, what I want to do is also enter in those student drops. So remember we copied all those drops from DataTel. So I'm just going to go a couple lines below to begin with. I'm going to enter in student drops. Okay, I like to have that in bold, and I like caps so it's easily readable. I'm going to actually bold this title up here too, my name and the section number. Okay. All right, things are looking good. So let's go back to our Word file with all of our student drops, and I'm just going to copy these. All right, we could just use the exact same format that was presented to us by DataTel. I'm going to press Control C or Command C on a Mac, and again, you want to make sure to copy the right ones for the correct section. And then I'm going to press Control V, and so now we have our modern film composers who dropped this class at varying intervals. Some lasted, some didn't. And then we have our grades up here. Now we want to kind of think about exporting this. Now, before I do all this, let me just double check my reference sheet to make sure I didn't skip anything important. Okay, we've got grade, we've got letter scores, we've got the formatting here. We're going to enter in our grading key, our student drops, and now I think we're good. So now we have to think about exporting, okay? So back in here, what I'm going to do, what I like to do is actually change the size of the document just to accommodate all the information. So if we tried to print this out, like chances are this would not fit on a regular letter page. But if I go under page layout, I'm going to change the size. I actually like to change it to tabloid. Now, chances are this is not going to need to be printed out, unless somebody raises like a contention with the school office. They might need to print it out, but for the most part, it's probably going to be stored as an electronic document somewhere. Okay, just for the records, and so the size of the page doesn't really matter that much unless they print it out. But even if they printed it out and they didn't have tabloid size paper, they could actually scale it down and it would be really small text, but it would still be fitting on the page. So here, what I also want to do is change the orientation to landscape. Okay, and we could see here that actually it fits pretty nicely on the page. Right now, my student drops are spilling over to the second page, so I'm actually going to format this so that these all fall on the second page, so it's nice and clean. Okay, if like perchance your grades spilled over here into the other column, you could also change your margins to narrow to give you a little bit extra room. So hopefully everything would still fit. But if you have so many grades that they spill over onto the second page, there might be a way to change like your page size to actually scale even larger. Like I would do that just again because it's an electronic document and it's probably more convenient to have everything fit on the page than to have it split up. Okay, so but for me this usually works out. Just the tablet size is really great. Now let's actually move these student drops over to the second page. You can see the dotted lines here that indicate what's on what page. So I'm just going to click drag and just take some rows selected, and I'm going to right click and choose insert. Okay, and I'm going to insert one more row here. And what I'll do for the second page, I'm going to copy these two cells, Control C or Command C, and then I'm going to select this first cell and then press Control V or Command V. All right, so now we've got our grades done, formatted, looks really good. We have our student drops on the second page. And let's go and I'm going to first of all save this. Remember we saved it as an Excel workbook to begin with, so we don't have to do that conversion, but if you forgot to do that to begin with, you don't want to save this as a CSV file. You want to change it to an Excel workbook. Okay, so remember, just save as, browse. I'm in my correct folder. We're going to change this to Excel workbook if it's not already there. Okay. All right, so this is for your records. This is still editable and it's all good, but if everything's finalized and you don't need to make any more changes, for me, I prefer to send in a PDF that's just going to be locked down. You could also put your digital signature on it, which I think Cassie's asking for. So let's just do that. I'm going to choose File. I don't like to choose Save as Adobe PDF from here for some reason. That's just me. I like to just go here, Save As, and choose PDF from here. So anyway, no particular, specific reason why I do that. I just prefer to do it this way. So we're just going to go ahead and save this. Okay, so now I've got my PDF. I've got the grading key here, and here are my student drops. Okay, so to add your digital signature, I just usually like to go here. I'll just put in my signature here in the corner. Okay. All right, and let's see here. Once I save this, what I like to do is actually create a certified copy. Okay, so let's just let it certify for a bit. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and save it. Save as, and I'll choose that same folder. And I'm just going to go ahead and add my last name. Oops. All right, and we'll save this so that I could differentiate the versions. Okay, so that's pretty much it. It's a very straightforward process. Once you do it like the first time, it gets easier and easier and quicker. And so, yeah, I hope this helps, and good luck everybody with your grading.